On the agenda tonight, we're going to be taking a look at Lukas Graham, and he's going to be performing Drunk in the Morning. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So this was a request that came through with the question of whether it has been pitch corrected, and for reference, this video is actually quite old, maybe 13 years ago, something like that. It was uploaded, and I gather that it went viral, but it's something that I didn't catch the first time round, so this was the first time that I'd seen it when I was asked to do this analysis. Now, from the standpoint of pitch correction, because this is what I would class as an older video, when you're talking about 10 to 15 years ago, pitch correction was really still in its infancy when you compare it with Melodyne and the plugins, how they've developed nowadays, that you can literally go in and move everything as you see fit. So we've got the pitch monitoring software up on screen. As always, we'll jump into this and see how the guys get on.
Woo! Shit! Excuse me. Woo!
Girl, I got one question. Are you still awake? Awake enough for me to see you, see you. Please just listen. Yes, I know it's late, but better late than never. I know it's 5 in the morning, not sure who I'm calling. You haven't heard from me in some time. Girl, I hope you want me when you hear me talking. You know I've been out, and is it okay I stop by? When I'm drunk in the morning, I'm calling you. You might be lonely, lonely. When I'm drunk in the morning, I'm calling you. You might be lonely, lonely. Skål, boys! Skål! M-I-D, and Sophie I kissed, baby. Sophie I had in my hand, but I'm calling you. But not before it's past 2 o'clock, 'cause I'm balling with my boys, my boys, my boys. I know it's 5 in the morning, not sure who I'm calling. You haven't heard from me in some time. Girl, I hope you want me when you hear me talking. You know I've been out, and is it okay I stop by? When I'm drunk in the morning, I'm calling you. You might be lonely, calling you. When I'm drunk in the morning, I'm calling you. You might be lonely, lonely.
Oh shit! Fuck God. Time to
And there we have it. So the great thing about this video is that it's just 100% live, and these guys are great as a band. The way that the groove and the feel is set up, and this is something that I love as well, because it's just pure instrumental ability paired with the ability to put across a particular vibe and feel in what you're playing in a particular groove, and we have that on the bass straight away, and you can instantly start tapping your foot to it just with this bass line that we've got going on. But then when the rest of the guys come in, of course, they're absolutely spot on, they're tight, which means that the timing is, absolutely spot on. We've got this tom that's doubling really as a foot pedal. But we've got the hi-hat that looks like it's got a towel on it, so we've got that dampened sound. But the way that you can tell that this is just totally live and unedited is because we're just hearing the audio from the camera, and whether it was filmed on a phone or not, I don't know. What I do know is that the record label that they were signed to thought that this would be a good idea in terms of them getting publicity, getting their name out there, to just have videos that are a little bit more edgy and just off the cuff like this, recording them on a phone or whatever they used. I think back in those days they did have camera phones, so it might have been that. I say back in those days, you know, only talking 13 years ago, but technology does move along very quickly. You can tell straight away that this is the recording from the space that they are sat in because of just the acoustics, but the way that the camera moves around. And you can hear that the microphone, effectively, is moving around. It's not in a set position. And this is something that you can just tell instantly when you've listened to a lot of live performances. If you've got a history in production, you'll know straight away that this is 100% genuine. So as we move into it, because I know the request was asking about pitch correction, I mean, now that you know that this is just 100% live and unedited, when we jump into Lukas's vocal, and because of technology nowadays, we can take down the instrumentation and listen to his voice and look at it on the pitch monitoring software.
Girl, I got one question. Are you still awake? Awake enough for me to see you, see you.
And, I mean, the first thing to say is that Lukas has this voice that is so accurate pitch-wise, and it's one of those voices that does rely on that, because you can hear in his voice how his vibrato is really subtle. It is in there, but it's not wide, and it's not slow in terms of the frequency of it. He doesn't cover a lot of pitch. Have a listen again.
Girl, I got one question.
So that little wobble that we have, and here, when he comes in with this D4, he's straight in with na 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 na. He's just bang on pitch immediately, and I always say that just doing that naturally can be quite difficult sometimes, especially if people are, you know, in big shows and they might be nervous with it. Hitting that first note, it can be tricky, but obviously this is really relaxed. But because he's got the ability, and the band have got the ability to just do this at the drop of a hat. But let me just point it out again.
Girl, I got one question.
This question, it's subtle, but it is in there. Now, if I slowed this down, you'd be able to hear the wobble of I mean, we see it on screen here, but it is so subtle that you might not even spot it. Let's have a listen.
Question.
No, you can hear it's definitely in there. So the reason that he's going to be so accurate, and he is accurate, is because he's kind of not going question and covering a lot of pitch with that vibrato. The other thing is that the phrases are quick. You know, they're stop and start.
Are you still awake?
Even there, are you still awake? It's kind of still awake. It's putting in kind of little bits of the words awake. So saying awake, but breaking it into an A and then awake. Again, when we're pointing out about pitch, we've got this B3 here, and we've got up here the E4. And you can see that he's absolutely bang on, but it is a natural voice. So it means that we are going to be drifting like here and here in the little rundown. You know, he's slightly flat of that D4. So because it's a really accurate vocal, I mean, you're slightly flat here where we started, but you are going to see his voice not falling on the lines. But look out for it, because as I always say, great vocals or great vocalists will have vocals that do fall on these lines just because they are that accurate that obviously he's singing with the piano here, and that's going to be obviously A440 standard pitch, but human vocal cords don't work like a piano, so it means that he's going to be dropping in and out of hitting these lines because he's that good, but he's also got that natural expression to his voice, which means that he will go sharp sometimes, he will be flat. Let's listen on.
Still awake, awake enough for me to see you, see you.
great example there of being sharp of the F sharp 4. So we had this see you, and he's up there rather than see you there, which is kind of below and probably a little bit closer to the F sharp 4. But this is the point that I mean, when I hit the note slightly flat of where Lukas hit his note where he was sharp, being sharp is the sound. It gives it a different expression. Listen to it again. See you. And he actually kind of does a little tail off at the end, slides down, and we probably get a little bit of vibrato there as well. So where he is sharp and where he is flat, that's the expression of his vocal. That's not him missing the note, which sadly this kind of thing nowadays would have been pitch corrected and dragged down to the F sharp 4. But let's listen on.
Please just listen. Yes, I know it's late, but
again here, late. He's hitting the note but allowing that vibrato to be sharp. Late. So it rather than going late and having that vibrato going below the note, late, he's kind of just letting it drift off sharp. So again, this is just something that makes his voice sound even more unique, because we're not necessarily used to hearing this sound, especially in mainstream pop. It's going to be kind of on the note, sometimes below the note, but allowing it to go sharp and then vibrato, and it just, letting it go where it goes. I mean, such a great sound.
better late than never.
Yeah, great example there as well. Never! Just letting it go up to wherever it goes to, and look at the intervals that we've got here. Bang on E4, and this video could have gone for years, just because he's so accurate, but at the same time is showing you what an expressive vocal is, because it's not pitch corrected. Let's have a listen to this again.
But better late than never.
Better late than that. Na 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 na. Jumping between those notes. Just great to listen to. Such an accurate vocalist. And look at this D4 as well, just bang on.
I know it's 5 in the morning, not sure who I'm calling. You haven't heard from me in some time.
Hey, there we go. So actually quite a lot of that vibrato within the little run. Let's listen to those wobbles. When you slow it down, you can start to hear it. But when you hear it in real time, it is quite fast, and comparatively fast to most singers. And again, this is going to make it unique. But this is what makes me think that this is just a natural vibrato that Lukas has got. He's not necessarily thinking about applying this vibrato as a technique. He's just singing, and this vibrato is just in his sound. But, it sounds great because it's his voice, it's his style, and, it is literally his vocal fingerprint having that vibrato on there.
I hope you want it when you hear me talking. You know I've been out, and is it okay I stop by?
And listen to that staccato, again, kind of breaking things up with that delivery. So we've got this and it might even be more staccato than that. It's just a totally unique thing. And certainly not the way that I sing with my music, but again, it's just his fingerprint vocally of having this separation and breaking up the words in this way. It's a really interesting way to do it. Now, the thing is, when I say about that, him hitting that, what looks like just being straight over this line of the S sharp 4, which he is, because he's got a great voice and he's that accurate. But when we then listen on,
hey, I'm calling you might be alone.
Actually here, the F sharp 4 had the freedom to go sharp. So, na 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 na, that was the note, and then when he went back to it, he was then sharp here.
Hey, I'm calling,
and he went slightly sharp there. So again, this is going to happen with the expression in the voice, but great singers don't always hit these lines, and more often than not, when they're singing a phrase like this, they can be bang on the line, but then when they go back to that note, they might be a little bit sharp. But I think that's actually part of Lukas's expression.
You might be lonely, lonely, when I'm drunk in the morning.
And great example again here, that now going to the F sharp 4, same note and same melody, we're now flat, then we go sharp, we maintain being sharp, and yeah, all the way to the end. So you can see how, even from one phrase to the next, even though you can't hear it in this detail, we can see it in this detail, that voices that are really accurate will still drift just naturally, but because of the way the vocal cords work. If he was always on this line all the time for this vocal phrase over and over and over again, but throughout the song, then that's when you start to lean towards pitch correction, because great voices and great singers have expression in their voice, and this is what is communicated through changes in pitch by being slightly flat and being slightly sharp, like we mentioned earlier with that no, allowing it to go sharp and applying that vibrato. I say applying, just the natural vibrato that Lukas has got. And we got these little runs in there as well. And even there we had and he went to an O sound at the end. Again, it's just unique little things. This is such a great vocal because he's just doing his own thing with it, and that's the best way to sing, is just sing the way that you sing, and the music that you're into, the influences that you've got for your own singing technique can just come through, and that's exactly what we get here. So it's great just to appreciate the quality of what we're looking at, especially with the current day industry, and this is where it gets a little bit more serious, looking at this and somebody asking whether it's pitch corrected. When you've got great bands and great singers, and this being from that time where, viral videos and people were becoming known through YouTube, but also Facebook and other sites where they'd have a video that would just explode, and then they're known around the world for that one particular performance or video. They were actually doing it, and this is the guys actually doing it. But I would say that nowadays, everybody is not, I say everybody, to find somebody or something like this that is genuine is so difficult. Like I said, the acoustic space, but the background noise of the guys, you can't fake this. But nowadays, this is all being pre-recorded and then mimed to. And sometimes not only that, but then mimed to a pitch-corrected version of their voice. So I've seen it, we've actually looked at videos in the past on the channel where it's been someone almost like in this situation, but in like a more intimate setting, like just in their house, like in their bedroom, singing into a microphone that's just in front of their mouth. But it's a pre-recorded pitch-corrected vocal that you're listening to. It's not what it looks like. So this is the serious part of it, that this is genuine, but a lot of stuff that you're seeing nowadays, especially on YouTube, is not only being mimed to, but it's being pitch corrected as well. I think the problem is when people are just singing into a microphone or pretending, to sing into a microphone, people think that that's what they're doing. Because of these kinds of videos that happened, 10 and 15 years ago, it used to be real. But I mean, you could say that about performances from, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Those were real when people were performing live. But then since pitch correction really took over and, DAWs, digital audio workstations, now everybody can buy a computer, everyone can produce their own stuff. So they can record as many times as they like to, I'd say, get it right or get it to sound great vocally. But now they've got the option of, if they can't get it right, then you can use pitch correction and then film the video as if it is, an impromptu performance. But the great thing about this is that this is genuinely a great performance. So I don't know how this one passed me by when it was originally released, maybe 10 to 15 years ago, but I'm glad that I've seen it so that I can point it out and just say that these guys are great, and Lukas's voice is just a great vocal from so many different perspectives, but pitch wise he's just really accurate, and this is without pitch correction, so it's just guys in a room. So anyway, thank you guys for requesting this video for me to take a look at. As always, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!